Hey YouTube, what's going on? Import Roller again. Today we're doing something special. I've been doing retrofits for years now. Today I'm going to show you a Q50 headlights that someone dropped off to me to do. So right now, got one of the lights in the oven so that we could take it apart. I generally like to set 250 at bake. So I already have one light completely disassembled and masked off the paint and all that. So I'm going to show you that in a little bit. And basically what we're going to do is the frosting of the lenses and then the completely blacked out housings except for the high beam, because you have to leave the high beam alone. Not alone, but you need to leave the chrome on the high beam or else the high beam won't really function the way it's supposed to. So we'll get back in just a little bit here and I'll show you what we're doing. So first thing I do is I got the paint, and right now it's sitting in some hot water so that the paint can expand a little bit better and vaporize when I go to spray it. All right, so I just took these out of the oven. They're nice and warm. Now on the back of these,
Hi.
what, you want to say hi? All right, so there's screws here. I already took them out. Here, there. There's one in there, one here, and one here. So I always start from down here where these clips are. And I think I might have to put them back in the oven for a little bit because they are not as pliable. They should be kind of flexible like this, but these ones are still kind of stiff. So I'm gonna throw them back in the oven for maybe another 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll show you how to disassemble them. All right, just took them out of the oven. Again, it's a little bit more pliable. It's still a little stiff, but what did you do? All right. So what I generally do, it's kind of hard to do one-handed, but this is I use a flathead screwdriver, and these OEM lights actually come apart pretty easy. You just get it in here.
Hi, baby girl.
Hi. And then you just kind of slide it to break the seal. And once you kind of got that seal broken, you could actually start prying it. It's gonna be kind of hard to do one-handed, so let's see. As you see, just some pressure, and as long as the glue is loose, it'll start coming apart. Just make sure that you get these tabs out of the way when you're doing it. Like I said, a little hard to do one-handed, but you get the gist. So let me kind of get this separated, and then I'll show you the other piece. All right. As I'm separating,
Hi. Hi, baby girl.
my daughter's new favorite phrase is "Hi, baby girl." All right. So after you get that out, this is the clip that powers the LEDs on the front strip. So you're gonna unplug that. All right, so after you get them separated, that's what the inside of the housing looks like. And hey, don't touch. All right, so after you take the lens off, or the front lens off, you're gonna unscrew this screw right here. This holds the LED that lights up the main strip, the long strip that stretches across the front of the headlight. This just comes right off. I like to put the screws back in place where they came from so I don't lose any. And then you also have to take off this screw here, this screw here, this screw here. Take out those three and the entire interior comes off. Lift. I usually lift from this top corner just because that's where the most glue is, so you want to try to get it away. And there you go. Put the screws back where they came from. That way when it's time to reassemble, you know what goes where. That way if you are missing one, or if you have screws left over and not sure where they go, it's going to be wherever there's one that you can't find a spot for. So now that I've got the lens off, I'm going to go put this in a plastic bag with the other lens. All right, so we got the from both headlights are in this bag. Excuse my mess, because, well, you know, you got a toddler, stuff is all over the place. So after you get this off, there. Oh,
Here.
it's all right. Put that down. Thanks. So there's little clips in here. They're just little plastic tabs, and you just gotta the little thin ones, like this one right here. That is for the actual cover. This actual cover. These thicker ones, like the one right here, is actually for the little LED rod, or the acrylic rod that's over here that the LED shines through, that projects the light all the way around. So this part is kind of hard to do with one hand. It's even hard to do with two hands because you're trying not to break these little clips because they do seem kind of flimsy. So you have to be careful when you pull them out. I always start with the one down here in this corner and then just kind of slowly work my way until they all release, and then I pop it off. And then for the orange reflector right here, it's pretty simple. You just have to do the top tab right here, and then just push through the middle, pops right off. We got clear ones that are going in place of the amber, so I'm not even going to reuse those. So let me get the this lens off, and then I'll be back. All right, so got the lens off. So that's what the inside looks like. Let's try to get this to focus here. So I actually already kind of popped out the acrylic, but those bigger tabs that I mentioned there, when you pop them out, this is the acrylic that gives you the LED lighting. So when it's all apart, that's what it looks like. So we're going to mask off an area make sure that this chrome does not get any paint on it, because without this chrome the LED doesn't really reflect that brightly. With the frost it'll cover up all the chrome anyways, but you know, just so that the LEDs still shine through pretty good. Do not put tape on this chrome, as I learned the hard way on another light I did. When you peel the tape off, it'll peel the chrome off, and that's not a good look. So we're going to paint the inside here, this chrome section, the inside here, it's all going to be black. And yeah, so I'm going to get everything masked off, and we should be. So this is basically how I mask off that area, so I make sure the tape doesn't touch anything. Is I put some paper over there, and then I put tape in spots just to hold it in place, so when I'm painting, it doesn't move, and the paint could, you know, get to all the areas I need it to. And I already scuffed it up with, I think I used like 1,000 grit sandpaper, because I don't really need to scuff it up much, just enough for the paint to stick. So now I just gotta do the projector part and get everything laid out in my homemade paint booth, and we'll start painting. Pop it off, but I want to show you what it is. You're going to want to take this off, Just a flathead screwdriver, a knife will just pop it off. You don't even really need to put it back on, but these two hold the projector in place. So you'll see this screw right here, and then there's another one down there. You can try to zoom in here. Are the two screws on the back. Then you also need, once it's loose enough, right here underneath the projector, you want to push those two black pins in on the side, and then that'll pop off. You can unhook these if you want to, but you could actually pull this projector out without unhooking them. So after you do all that, you'll see that the high beam and low beam is just one big housing. Here's the ballast to activate the LEDs. So to take the projector off, you have to take these 4 screws off, and also there's a 5th one in here, but we're going to get to that after we take this bracket off. After we take this bracket off, the projector will actually dismount from the rest of this housing, and then I'll show you how everything else connects to each other. All right, so I put those screws back in place, so as I said, I know where it goes. So now we have to take this screw off, this screw off, and that screw off, the one on the silver. And so this will take the projector off of the the surrounding part off the projector. All right, so now after you do that, you have one more electrical cable to disconnect right here. This powers the little LEDs that goes around the projector itself. All right, so now see that's separated. Actually, I'll disassemble that in a minute. Now, I'm not changing the lens out on this, so I'm not going to really show you how to remove the lens. But if you needed to remove the lens is actually glued in on here. Like, you can see the little indentation. It goes all the way around. If you look on the inside, you realize there's nothing really holding it in place that you could just remove. So you would just have to get a flathead, or something strong and flat that you could get into like this little crevice right here, and then just put some pressure on it and pop this off. When you put a clear lens in there, you have to re-glue it back on. Make sure that it's straight, and then glue it back on. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple, but not simple at the same time. So I'm going to put this stuff off to the side. As I mentioned earlier, you can unplug these if you want a little bit more wiggle room, or you could just leave them as is. This one I just left as is. So I'm going to just kind of rest this here. I'm not touching any more of this part of the housing until it's time to reassemble everything. All right. All right. So on the back here, I already took one of the screws out, but there's a screw here and a screw here. I said I already started taking them out. Take this piece off, and this covers the little LED board. Kind of cool design that they made for this thing. Put this off to the side somewhere so you don't lose it. And then we're going to tape off this area so nothing gets in there. I'm going to pop off the lens, which is just like the other ones. You see, here's a first one right here. Just push that in. There's a second one right here. And then Just kind of work your way around. Oh, and here's the last one. Then just pops off. And make sure before you spray it, clean it. I use isopropyl alcohol mixed with water. And then we're going to mask off the inside area here so that when I paint it, nothing gets in, because you need it to reflect so that the LEDs shine properly. Alright, so I'll show you how it looks when I mask, and then I'm done until the paint's dry, and then reassemble is just a reverse of taking it apart. Alright, so now we got this masked off, and as I said, also do the back so that no overspray gets in from that side. Gonna do a quick little sand in just to kind of scuff it up. Then I'm gonna get everything in the paint booth and get going. Alright, so I'm using Rust-Oleum semi-transparent frosted glass spray. Reason for that is they do make ones that are not transparent, but if you do that, yeah, it'll be white, but you won't actually be able to see through it. So when the light shines through the LEDs, you won't be able to see what goes through. So the way this works is you spray layer by layer. I usually do about 5 layers total. So when you spray it on, it looks clear, but after it dries, it's actually gonna become like a white frost color. All right, so I'll show you real quick. All right, we'll come back in a few minutes.